And there's another part of this formula, and it goes like this. You can't rearrange the elements. You can't decide that you're going to put execution ahead of awareness. You can't do that. In other words, the execution follows awareness and commitment. But so many people who come to me and they're failing. They all. I only work with people like yourself now. Occasionally, once in a while, I work with the younger people, but most of the time it's professionals who hit the wall. They were very successful in their careers, and all of a sudden they can't play. And the reason they can't play is because they drifted away from musical awareness into self-awareness. That's what happened to me. That's why I know about it. That's why I learned about it. I got away from the musical awareness that I was experiencing in Chicago, and I became more and more self-aware. And then and as the self-awareness, as I focused on it, it became worse. It became more powerful. The self-awareness became more powerful, and I became more paralyzed.
Yeah.
And
I began playing the piano at age 6, and all the way up to age 13, I think I didn't have much self-awareness. I was all
no,
about music. And then when
yeah,
I started to play the French horn in the school band, that's when I got totally self-aware. And the first 3, 4 years, I was just struggling. But then I came across the recordings of Jacob's lectures, and that was the first time anything made any sense in my brass world.
well, you
And
see,
the next
as
two
brass
years,
players,
the
we get a
next
lot of
2 years,
physical feedback from
yeah.
playing the horn. We have the mouthpiece on our chops,
Mm.
and we get a lot of physical feedback, and it's a distraction. I call it the double barrel shotgun. We have a double barrel focusing at our heads. This happens to pianists as well.
Hmm.
You hear about pianists who become paralyzed.
Like
Of
humble,
the Boston Symphony,
oft, yes, yeah,
very
yeah,
fine player.
yeah. He's famous in
So,
Japan.
like a lot of people, they come to Chicago because they want to learn how to play. There's a good place to learn. There's a lot of great players here, and the tradition is tremendous in the brass world.
Mm.
So I played a gig, and he and I played a gig together, probably 20 years ago now. And he didn't come to Chicago to study with me. He came to study with those guys downtown, and he should because they're the greatest players in the world.
Mm.
They have, Friedman was there for 62 years, principal trombone, and now they have a fellow his name is Tim Higgins. He came from San Francisco. He's world class. They're so lucky to have him there.
Mm.
But here's what he said to me. We just started up a conversation on the break on the gig. He says, "Well, all those guys are telling me that I have no chance for a career in music. Those guys downtown were telling him, forget it, do something else. There's no chance that you're gonna have a career." And here's what I said to him: let's go.
Mm.
So we had 5 lessons. His lessons were no different than what we're doing here right now.
Mhm.
About 6 months later, principal trombone in Sarasota. No chance for a career.
Mm. How old was he back then when he worked with you?
He was probably in 25, 26.
25, 26, huh?
Yeah, that's about because he was just trying to make a career.
Yeah.
So now he's in Sarasota, and he's there for about 2 or 3 years, and he's principal trombone in Buffalo,
Mm.
and he's there for 2 or 3 years, principal trombone in Boston. And as a matter of fact, he was one of the finalists for the CSO auditions last spring or
Mm.
last summer, whenever they had. And I was hoping that he would get it, but the guy they hired, though, is just absolutely world-class player. But he totally went from people telling him, forget it, you can't play, you're not going to have a career, to he's in the Boston Symphony. And that's a great low brass section, by the way, in the Boston Symphony.
Mm.
So what changed? State of mind.
Mm.
And what was the difference there? It's musical awareness versus self-awareness. Now, don't blame yourself for what happened to you, because the educational environment encourages self-awareness. Do this, do that, do this, do that. And the more they encourage that, the less you can do. Like you said, you sat down at the piano and you just responded to music. You're probably familiar with Yuzha Wang.
Yeah.
She's the piano means nothing to her. The piano means nothing to her.
A brainless wooden box.
She's and all the great players, they transcend the instrument. They transcend the instrument. And that's what I said to Sergio. You transcend the instrument. It's not about playing the instrument. It's about the music. And we've got this backwards. The educational system, Basil, has it backwards. You must become a great horn technician before you can become a musician. No.
Yeah.
You have to become the musician first.
Mm.
And Brain was demonstrating that all the time. He was demonstrating that it was just a mindless tube. Look at this garden hose with a funnel, and it's just like a sousaphone. There was a horn player in the CSO, third horn. His name was Richard Olberg. He was an excellent horn player. And he had a beautiful statement. He said, you'll know that you have achieved greatness when you can be identified solely by the quality of your sound. And we could say that about Herseth. No one has ever been able to produce his sound. Jacobs, nobody else has been able to produce his sound. Gene Picorni has his horn. Doesn't matter. Gene is a great player. He cannot produce Jacobs' sound with that instrument. And one of the things that, Luciano Pavarotti, you don't have to wonder who's singing when you hear him sing. You know it's him. Yeah. He's identified by that sound. And for the brass players, I'm convinced that one of the reasons they were developed that quality of sound was the extensive mouthpiece playing away from the instrument. Now you have a little funnel there, a little device there. That's perfect. That's all you need. And here's what I'm going to suggest that you do.
It's a plastic tuba mouthpiece.
Perfect. Perfect. That's just like the bell of the stop. It would be the same thing. That's perfect. So, unfortunately, whoever developed that plastic tuba mouthpiece with the wrong idea to study your chops. You don't have to study your chops. You don't have to see your chops to make them do. But in your case, it's a perfect device for you to be, and then you can actually finger it too, like a trumpet.
Yeah, true.
You can finger it with your left hand. But I'm going to suggest that you do a minimum of 1 hour a day, just with that tuba mouthpiece. And one of the things that I always did when I was young and involved in this is I put the stereo on. I play along with everything I heard. Heldenly, the Reiner recording with Chicago Symphony, and I played with everything I heard. And I would do this for an hour. Well, by the time of that, I finished that hour, the tone that was coming out of that mouthpiece went into the lead pipe, and there it was. So the advantages of this are to, obviously the singing, right? You're thinking the notes to play the mouthpiece. Yeah. But it also has advantages in terms of tone production. Because you have a small amplifier, and then when you create a big sound with a small amplifier, because you're creating a big sound with a small amplifier, when you put it in the big amplifier, whoa, that's the tone.